And like I said, this is the episode 17. I want to thank you to all of you who have showed up before, all of you who have showed up now. If you haven't subscribed before, subscribe now. And like I said earlier, I got a surprise. Well, for those of you who actually do write poetry, as you always know, I come here quite often unprepared. And I don't really have not much to say unless I just come up with something in my head. I usually talk about anxieties and people who have problems with, I don't know, like addiction and people who feel rejected, misunderstood. Um, I mean, I pretty much welcome to all of you, and I give you much love. Thank you so much. And sorry, I had my tea was in the burner, and my tea was actually boiling for, see how long, 15 minutes. My tea was boiling, and I almost burnt down my freaking kitchen. But like I said earlier, I had something prepared for you, and I have a couple of poems here, which I would like to read. I would say that my poems are pretty complex. I'm definitely not a published poet. I'm not a published poetry writer. I guess I could be. I think my poetry is pretty damn good. Like everybody thinks their poetry is really good, right? Like if you're writing a book, like I'm writing a book, pretty much. Well, actually, this is the part 5 of the manifesto that I'm writing, and let's see. I think I'm like 30 page. I'm like 30 pages into my book, my 5th chapter or my 5th part of the book. Okay, and I'm sorry I left earlier. My dog needs to get out like every damn second and use the bathroom, and I left my tea on the stove, and literally it burnt out. So I had to make a new tea, my parsley celery tea, my famous parsley and celery tea, which I drink about every time I go live. And I put a little bit of honey. Usually, best honey for this kind of stuff is just a local made honey. I usually like the thick stuff. I don't like that runny store brand honey crap. Here in Michigan, we make the a really good homemade honey, and so I put that in my parsley and celery tea, which is supposed to be good for you, but I would say Pink Floyd. I don't watch much Grateful Dead or Dead because I don't know. I just haven't. I heard they're really good. Um, I used to have friends back when I used to live in New Jersey. Um, the story is two of my buddies. Well, they invited me to go with them, but I decided not to go see Grateful Dead because the same night, the crazy part is I went to see Metallica in Roseland, New York, and yeah, these two guys got so freaking stoned, so wasted. They didn't buy the tickets to see Grateful Dead, so they climbed up this really high fence, and my buddy fell over the fence and broke his leg. It was crazy, and then the bodyguards from Grateful Dead came by and picked him up and took him to the hospital. It's just a crazy thing, but yeah, that was back in the '90s. So, oh yeah, John Pork TV show, yeah, John Pork, hey. Mm. Cheers to John Pork. What is it? Pork? John Pork TV show. Oh, that's actually not a bad name, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be too many people over here that either write or write at all or read. I don't read much, but I do write a lot. I don't know if those two have anything in common. People say you cannot be a writer unless you read a lot of books. And I can tell you right now, I have I don't have finished college. I went to college and I think I have 2 semesters, maybe 3, but I've graduated from high school. So, but my circumstances were different because I actually went to a war. I was in a war when I was younger, so I had to leave the city, the town, my house, my friends, everything that I've ever owned, everything my parents ever fucking owned, just burned to hell in war. So I've lost everything, and I still got nothing. So kind of like in my own life, yeah, I can't say that I haven't enjoyed, but there's a lot of times I look back and I say to myself, man, I've been very fortunate. I've been through so much in my life, the wars and the refugee camps, and you know, I have to say I was very fortunate to have my father in my life. What's that? Well, yeah, you can have a really good idea to write a book. That's true. You can. But, if you have a really good life experience, that also work. Like if I don't know, if any of you are veterans and you've been to Iraq or Iran and you've served in the military, that's a really good story to tell. People like to read war stories, and I mean, I don't know if I'm not sure if like biographies. Well, you can't write a biography unless you're already a famous writer. But like memoriams and stuff like that, like you write about your life and stuff like that, like what I'm doing right now. And I have almost 5 of these full. Each one of these is about 70, 60 or 70 pages. This is the fifth one. Well, I call them like, what is this? So this is a volume 5. Okay. So in this volume 5, I have already in like 40 pages, but I have 4 previous volumes I'm writing of manifesto. And where was that? Where did you go? Where were you in the war? Uh, uh, like streets of like a war zone? Hey, if you guys haven't subscribed, man, subscribe. If you will, I'm trying to reach the 200 subscribers. I don't come out here very often. I kind of go in spurts. Like last week, I was on every evening, and then I'll kind of pop up out of nowhere, usually after midnight or sometimes like before midnight. But I like to talk about mostly about, yeah. Well, welcome, Curtis, man. It's nice to have you, brother. Um, if there's something you want to talk about, and you got a good idea, I want to talk about something, yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, man, that's terrible. I'm sorry about that, man. That's that's really shitty. It's really shitty. War is a terrible thing, and look, man. I know I tell myself I don't like to talk about politics many times, but unfortunately, like when you talk about things like that, that really is politics in a way. And people, I see people in United States here. If you look through like social media, you'll find a lot of people just kind of asking for wars, saying, "Oh, a civil war," or "This is going to happen, that's going to happen, a civil war, a civil war." It's almost like people are asking for it through social media, are consistently talking about it. And I can tell you one thing, man. You don't want a war. I've been in one. It is the ugliest damn thing on earth. And it is hell on earth. It is hell served on a platter to you, my friends. So believe me if I tell you, you want to live in peace. It is the best option for all of us. And I don't care who you voted for now, then, 20 freaking years ago. The thing is this: politicians are trying to always, that's just the way of politics. You don't even know. I'm not an educated politician, or I'm not educated in like economics or politics. But from experience, I can tell you that we're, what happened to where I come from, politicians are always looking for, I guess, a way to split people up. That's just one of their things, and that's just what they do. And I don't even know if they do it subconsciously or they just do it because they want it, because they love doing it. But in every war begins that way. Every damn war begins in separating the people, because that's really the easiest way for them to first. This is the thing. If any of you folks know what the former Yugoslavia was like in Europe, we were in the center of Europe, Central Europe. People will always mistaken us for Eastern Europe. People always say, "Oh, you're Iranian. Are you from some, Saudi Arabia? Or you?" No, we're not. It's like former Yugoslavia was. They call us Balkans, Balkan people, right? And by all estimations and by all, I don't know what I would say. Not so. There's a lot of educated people where I come from. There's also not very many educated people where I come from. And of course, that's the case with the most world. And you can't guess whether somebody is educated from where they come from, right? It just doesn't, it's not, it's not how you look at things. But I have carefully studied and watched what happened in former Yugoslavia, right? Because I come from over there, and I was young, but it doesn't mean I was stupid. And I did see the progress in which that particular war has started. Um, you know, but it happened very quickly. Okay, wars just seem to happen, especially a civil war. It's not something that kind of drags on. Civil war doesn't happen like month after a month, slowly. Kind of. Oh, is it going to happen or is it not? It's happening. It's not. No. Civil war, particularly, I'm talking about that because that's where I come from. It's my personal experience, my school, my childhood. It happens almost when you least expect it, instantaneously overnight. You wake up today is all peace and gravy. The next day you're waking up, there's barricades everywhere, there's tanks driving through towns and people with guns walking all over the place, uh, knocking your door, asking you to go to military. Schools are divided by fences and religions, and if your last name is something something, then you are in this particular room. If your last name is something something else, then you're in this other room. So they separate kids. Even kids are separated. So But in order to do that in a country who is very united, like we were, I mean, we were probably the only actual real example of socialism working as a, I don't know how to say it, like as something that just works. It worked for us. It doesn't have to work for everybody, okay? And when people say socialism, they probably think about more like communism, but it has nothing to do with that. Just think of the word social, okay? Like socializing with people, with animals, with whoever, right? So that's kind of, to me, the meaning of socialism. In my country, that's what it was, right? And if any of you know the history, who Josip Broz Tito was, well, Josip Broz Tito was a Yugoslavian leader from the early to late 1940s and 50s through 1980. He was he fought with partisans against Nazis, and there's even a famous battle in Sutjeska and stuff like that. Um, we kind of fought the Nazis from the inside. We organized small little groups, and we fought them from different places, from different spots. They wanted to take over our country, but we organized. That's what you need to do. You need to organize, and that is the best way to destroy anything that's of any kind of like a Nazi kind of theory, or if anybody's coming to take over your neighborhood or your country or anything that you've made, you always organize from the inside. Okay, I'm not saying that you should do that. Okay, I'm just saying what happened to where I come from. I've noticed that's the first thing I've noticed: people organizing. Okay, and you will notice in every war it just happens. People organize, and it's just kind of in the back of your head. Your hair would stand up, and you're gonna know something's up. You know. Hey guys, how are you? God bless you all, guys. Thank you all for being here, man. If you haven't subscribed, man, subscribe. If you like the talk, if you know what this is all about, you know, go ahead and subscribe for me. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. If you feel like there's someone here that's trying to intrude and disturb our peace and dignity, I give you a full right to kick him out and be a moderator, whoever you are. Feel free. If you're going to be a moderator, go ahead. So, you see, I was young and I've actually noticed the organization, how people felt in those times where, where the powerful have divided us. But the people didn't let that happen. You see, they kind of were step ahead. Always, people always step ahead. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have trillions, billions of dollars. Don't matter. You can have the biggest military in the world. Don't matter. People organize and they always know. They always watch because that's what people do. Okay, so don't be fooled by people's. I would invent a word and say slowness. People are not slow. People are smart. Okay, and you can also become a part of the movement. If you want to, it's always there. It's always available. So, not to go back. So that's how. I don't know how I got to this conversation, but the gentleman earlier started it for me, which is good. I think it's a good topic, and I think people should know what wars feel like and what they kind of feel like in the air. And believe me, it's something that you will know when it comes around. By the way, civil wars are probably some of the most worst, most bloodiest, the most um, insane, the most inhumane like things I have ever seen in my life. I mean, I've seen a lady get over run by tank, run over by tank. Old lady. She just stood in front of the tank and she got run over by an T-80, an old Russian tank that came through my town. And of course, Russians weren't in there, but other people were in the military at that time. And this poor old lady got run over by a tank. I've seen my neighbors just an old lady and her husband who are retired. As a matter of fact, they just lived a floor under me. I've seen both of them get executed. Right, I mean, it happened within a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. 4 or 5 guys showed up with weapons, knocked on the door. The lady came out, and one of the guys happened to know her husband. They knocked on the door. They asked, "Is your husband home?" "Hey, I'm okay. Thank you so much. How are you?" "Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate it." And, the lady said, "My husband is home." And they're like, "We want to talk to him." Blah, blah, blah. He comes out, and it was that. They shot her husband, and they told her, "You have 5 minutes to get out of here, and we're going to shoot you too if you don't move out of here." This old lady, I'm just watching from I was just a floor above, and I'm watching down there I can see it through this. There's a stairway, and I'm like right here. I'm looking because the apartment was right over here on that side. Ours was on this side. The apartment where this happened was on this side. I have a really, really good look because I was standing up there. Um, they shot her husband in cold blood. Didn't ask him any questions. And they told her, "You have 5 minutes to get ready, pick up whatever you have there is that you have, and get out of here." And this poor lady, she didn't know what to do. She she wanted to get out. They wouldn't allow her to get out. They pushed her back into the house, and I've seen her run down the stairs, just in her slippers, in her short sleeve, and her dress. And as they just shot her husband maybe a minute earlier, this 4 or 5 armed men that showed up. They gave her a chance to run, and the poor lady, I went to the window. I wanted to see what's going on, what's going to happen to her. So they followed her down to the end of the stairway, into the like a little yard we had in the front of the building. There's a little yard. There's a plum tree there, and there's a bunch of just like a little garages along the side. And as she tried to run through the street down into the next block, these men followed her. They just kind of stood there and they started laughing and talking. I didn't hear what they said to her, but I've seen them shoot at her, and she didn't really make it far. She only made it probably about maybe 50 yards, and then they shot her too. So it's a bloody, terrible war that nobody wants it. Trust me, you don't. They showed up on my door. Um, it's what I'm writing in my book, but it's not. I'm not gonna say every single detail because it's pretty graphic. There's some really graphic stuff. But anyways, I remember when these men showed up at my door asking for my dad. Uh, the first time they showed up, I was only with my mother. Luckily, one of the guys used to work with my dad in the coal. There was like a coal mine. My dad was the supervisor. My dad always treated him with respect, so he showed up with 4 other younger men They all carried AK-47s. Is that what you call them? AKs? Yeah. They all carry those because I'm pretty sure that's what they were because I know the look of that particular weapon because our military and paramilitary always carried those at that time. But either way, they showed up. I was only with my mom, and I opened the door. Of course, it was that man, which I've seen before. My father has introduced me to him, and he's seen me only one time. I didn't know his name. He said, "Son," he goes, "Son, is your dad home?" He kind of said it like he knew me. And I said, "No, sir, he's not here right now. He's in Germany. My dad was in Germany at the time doing some projects for a company named Rudgen from, they were from, what's that city called in Germany? Frankfurt. So my dad was a pretty smart guy. He was an engineer, hydraulic engineer. But anyways, my dad was absent. He said he asked me, he's like, "Do you know when he's gonna be back?" I said, "I really don't know." He said, "Well, just make sure you tell him that we were here. He needs to sign up for a military." I said, "Okay, yes, sure, no problem." I was so respectful, because I just saw these guys literally kill two people right before they came to my door. Um, Luckily, they took off. They didn't hurt my mother. They didn't hurt me. And I kind of think that I believe that has something to do with one of them actually either liking or knowing my father personally. Otherwise, I would have been dead a long time ago. Hello, how are you guys? Now, if you're not if you're not used to war stories, and I usually don't tell war stories, but I'm telling one right now, I would suggest that you don't listen because it can get a little graphic. So, you know, if you don't like war stories and you don't want to be part of any kind of graphic war story, just you know, I wouldn't be angry or mad if you just kind of go somewhere. If you just take yourself out of the story, don't listen. So, but I do appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you so much. So, a gentleman earlier, I think it was Scott. Thank you man, for being here. Uh, he asked me a question about politics and civil war and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of tell you guys, since I was there and I've seen it happen. I'll tell you a couple of stories. Anyways, to continue. So these men, they've just executed two people just under me. Uh, in the apartment under me, a lady and a man who I've known for many, many, many years. Wonderful people. Both retired. Her husband was uh, worked in the garage every day. He made like sculptures out of metal and things like that. Okay, but anyways, they were nice people, very innocent, never hurt anybody. The lady would go outside and she would like water her flowers every day. It's just one of those people that wanted to enjoy their retirement. I've seen them every day before I go to school and after school, and there were of course other people there. Some people managed to get out earlier and escape the war craziness on time, like I did and many other people. Of course, we were late a couple of times. I could have been shot many, many times over. And I could say that I've been pretty fortunate to avoid that. And I went through many, many military checkpoints. And I've had AK-47, pointed in my face many times at 15, 16 years of age. And I know what fear in your bones means because I've had fear in my bones. Luckily, I didn't suffer from panic attacks and panic disorder back then. I do now. Hello. Uh, so yeah, subscribe, guys. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you so much, and let's continue. So this story is personal, my personal story. I will just not gonna go through the whole thing because there's like 500 pages of it. And I'm just gonna give you a small little snippet of what happened in the former Yugoslavia during its breaking up during the Civil War, where I personally survived, what I've personally seen with my own eyes. I mean, up close and personal. So this man, after they just shot this couple, just floor under me, came up to my door, knocked on the door. I came out. They were looking for my father. And everybody up to, I would say, 17 years of age would have to go and serve military. But you got to understand, these were not regular military people. These are these were paramilitary informations, kind of like militia, what you guys have here. And I knew that. But anyways, so did my father. Luckily, my father wasn't there. He was in Frankfurt. Um, I didn't know exactly when he was going to be back. They asked me when. He was like, "When is your dad coming back?" I said, "I really don't know. I really don't. You're lying to us." And I'm like, "No, sir. I'm not lying. I really don't know. He's in Germany. When he comes back, you guys can come back and you can talk to him. He will be here sometimes next week." These people, they were coming back every damn day, knocking on my door. Sometimes they would come in the middle of the night. They were banging on my door. They were push the ring button over and over and over again. Then they would bang on the door like 3 or 4 in the morning. They would cough. They would get drunk. They would make weird sounds, and they would take the knife and they would scratch all over the door. I mean, they were obnoxious and scary, to say the least. Um, and in the morning I would find like empty alcohol bottles and wraps from food. So they would literally camp out in front of my door um, every day until my dad got back, because they really wanted to talk to him. They really wanted my dad. I was really scared. I figured, if they see him, they're probably going to shoot him. And when you're at that age and you feel you're you are feeling for your father, your fear for your father, because you've seen these people get killed just a couple of days earlier. And of course my dad did come back 3 days later. I think this was like on a Friday, and my dad got back on like Monday or Tuesday, something like that. um and I will tell you guys, I have never seen a man with more balls than I have my own dad, my own father. Not because he's my father, but because I have never seen anyone saying no, like in a such way, to a militiaman like my dad did when they showed up to the door to take him. I was right there when that happened. My dad, of course, opened the door, and the man knew my dad, and they started talking, and I was standing right behind my dad, like I was holding him by his pants, like these like belt loops. I was holding onto one of his belt loops with my fingers, because I didn't want him to go anywhere. So this guy said to him, "Hey, long time no see." And my dad was all respected, civil towards him. So my dad said, "Okay, well, let's get to it. What is it that you guys want?" This guy pulls out a paper, and it's some kind of a warrant. It's one of those things that you get that you have to serve the military. No, I don't think it's spiritual at all, man. So this man pulls out a piece of paper that had my dad's name on it. He must serve military. He's got to go. It was that day. It was his time. He had to go. And the most unexpected happened. I had no idea. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that my dad literally told him to fuck off, which I wouldn't have any balls to do if I was at that age. I mean, At that time, he was in his 30s. He looked at the paper, and there was these 5 men with AK-47 standing at our door. My dad looks at the paper, and he goes, "You know what, dude? This is what you're gonna do with this piece of paper. Take it and wipe your ass with it. Take it. Did you hear what I said? Take this piece of paper and wipe your ass with it." I stood there and I'm thinking, whoa, what just happened? These guys are definitely going to fucking shoot him. This man takes the paper back. Is that so? My dad says, yes. If you didn't hear me twice, I'll say it again. Wipe your ass with it. The dude and 4 other guys that were with him, they said, well, we'll see about that. So they turned around and fucking left. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, oh my fucking God. We closed the doors after they left. I told my dad, what the fuck is wrong with you? Didn't you just tell these dudes that were like armed to the teeth to wipe their ass with a paper that was almost like a warrant that came, who knows from where? I don't think it was court issued or issued by any kind of lawful, in any kind of lawful way. Maybe it was. I don't know. No, not this sweater. Definitely not. I have nothing in me that speaks of war. I am the least warlike person ever. I am the if there's like a word that can describe peaceful better than peaceful, that would be me. So you will, and that's something that I don't want to see that here. United States, and you see my I would have never I never I personally never wanted to be here in this country myself. I've had better places to be than here. I was 15. Nobody fucking asked me a goddamn question ever. My dad was one of those people who, you know, my word didn't really matter much. He would just say, "Shut up, you're going." You know. So when I lived in, well, at first I spent a lot of time at the Red Cross. Red Cross took care of us, took care of me for some time, and through Red Cross, we when I've lived in Denmark almost 2 years. Denmark was great. I tell you what, I really enjoyed Denmark. Denmark was one of the best. Denmark was one of the Sydney, Australia. Yes, Hey, do you remember? Oh my God, man! Nowhere near, man. Are you talking about Cash Patel, dude? Please don't tell me. But hey, Sydney, you know what? Sydney is. I've never been to Australia, but I can imagine how beautiful it is. Honestly, I've heard that people in Australia are great people. It's just from what I heard. Yes, yes. United States of corporations. Well, I would call it not United States of America. The way I call it is United Corporations of America. Denmark. Yeah, man. Well, I tell you what, I was there almost 2 years as a refugee. In 19 from 1993 through almost 1995. I was there 19 months. So almost 2 years, not quite. But I will tell you, I love the people there. I love women there. I love their food. I loved how nice and polite they were. I loved their streets, the way they built their houses, everything about Denmark. It was amazing. The the only thing that wasn't agreeing with too much was the winds. It was constantly windy and cold. But the summertime is the best. No humidity. Is just one of the best. Like if you want like a really nice, dry, hot summertime, it's really nice. Is Denmark. Like it's the best. I fucking loved it. England is a shithole. Yeah. Well, I don't know much about England. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't know. That triggers another question for me. Like, see, most of the see you America, America as America, United States as they call it. I call America, right? Has been or supposed to be this example to the world of America has always been this example, right? To the whole world about democracy, about you can come here and you can be whoever you want to be, whatever you want to be. There's no restrictions, there's no limitations, there's no basically everything that you wanted always wanted to be, you can be if you came to here to America, right? So that's at least how this country always marketed itself to the West and to the East and to the whole world. Um, like I grew up watching American movies. Like one of my favorites is Rambo. First Blood and um, Rocky Balboa and all that stuff. Like 90210, Beverly Hills. All these great American movies from the '80s. Like Home Alone and there's many, man. There's many great American movies, and through movies, when you watch at that time in the '80s when I was watching those movies, I said to myself, "Wow, man, this must be a great country because like, how can these movies lie? You see all this stuff and you're thinking, wow, this is probably how it is, you know." And it certainly got to my dad. My dad, he really, really wanted to be here in the U.S. since he had some family, his brother and so on and so on and so on. Can I read? Yeah. Can I read? Like what? Read what? Can I read? No, I can't read. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not very educated. I can't read. So when you're a kid and you watch all those movies, you say to yourself, well, how can it be bad? I mean, and at that time, I never really thought my country was going to go through a civil war. Um, I thought, shit, I wouldn't mind going to U.S., but why do I need to go there when everything's gravy here? You know, my uncle already lived in the United States in the '80s. He was married to a woman who had family here, and they were kind of in and out of U.S. they're always kind of wealthy. You know, fuck all that shit. I mean, what is even wealth? What do you consider wealth? What the fuck is that? To me, wealth is family. Wealth is health. Wealth is love and respect and all the friends that you have and all the family members that love you and care. That's wealth to me. You know, wealth to me is not billions and millions. Although it's nice to have money. I mean, it's nice to have, to be able to survive and pay the bills. But that's not what it should be about, although that's what it feels like it's all about. I'm from originally former Yugoslavia. Former Yugoslavia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, those parts. And so to go back to the subject of United States or United Corporations, um, we had it really good. We lived in socialism. We had it really good. And when shit started going south was when our president passed away in 1980. The guy who kept everything together. He was the glue. And when he died, everything just fell apart. Everything started to go south. The independent parties were coming up and doing their own thing, and the parties have, the this party, that party, that party. They were nationalist parties, and so these nationalist parties were, tearing people apart, tearing the country apart, because it's kind of like you have here now, like United States, you kind of have that, except the nationalist parties. Here you have, Democrats, you have Republicans, you have independent. If you ask me, I wouldn't. I'm not for any parties really. If you ask me, country can function without any party. You don't need a party. As a matter of fact, what you do need is one good leader. That's that, who has a backbone. So that's pretty much it. And I just don't believe that parties are a good way to for I don't know. Parties are just not good. I just don't believe. Excuse me. I don't believe that parties fight for people. Uh, okay, stop you right there. All right. So here it is. So you see, basically, I can tell you this. First of all, everything that you said there is wrong. First of all, there's plenty of motivation because people worked. Okay. Now, there's no labor shortages ever. First of all, it was a country of 26 million people. Okay, it's not 380 million people. That's the difference. Now, when you have a country of 26 million people, it is much easier to accomplish something. All right. United States, I understand some you got almost 400 million people here, 380 plus, right? And it's really hard to feed people. It's really hard to give people any kind of decent health insurance. It is just all the way around. It's harder to organize just because there's so many people here. And I don't even think that's a problem. I just think the problem is the government doesn't. It's it's just from the beginning of the days. I don't know much about this country. I mean, I'm not gonna say things that I don't know because I don't want to state things that I don't know. I just know how it worked for us. Socialism, where I come from, worked perfect for us, and it did work out great for us until the corporates moved in, privatization moved in, and that's when we started falling apart. And of course, capitalism moved in, we started falling apart. Now, this is what happens, man. It's very simple. There's no socialism is not difficult, man. I don't know where you get this thing that this is a really difficult thing. It's not. Okay? Uh it's basically democracy. That's what it is. Okay? To say there's democracy here, there isn't. There's no democracy here. Now, socialism is democracy. Okay? And I'll tell you how. This is how it worked for us. Um, we paid just a little bit more in taxes. Okay? That's that. And that's that. That's the end of the story, my friend. There's no motivation, lack of motivation for. We didn't have homeless people sleeping all over the streets, man. Like I remember when I came to the JFK airport when I first landed in 1994. I'm looking around. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Why are all these people sleeping all over the freaking floors on in the corners? This guy's pissing in the corner over there. This dude is sleeping on the side of the road. It's sad. It's terrible to see. The richest country in the world has the most homeless of any country in the world. So, and I asked this the lady that waited for us at the airport. I'm like, what is going on? Why are these people sleeping on the streets? She goes like, oh, that's just normal here. That's just the way it is. But it doesn't have to be that way. So you see, because it's very simple. Like I said before, you get a paycheck, you pay normal taxes, right? You pay whatever that is that they deduct. I don't know. They deduct a little bit for Medicaid, for Social Security. Okay, they're just the normal deductions that they do, right? And now you would have an extra deductions for your healthcare and for your schooling for your kids. And instead of you paying, I don't know, 5%, you'll be paying 7% or maybe 10%. But then if you pay this 10% and it gets deducted from your paycheck, okay, that's not a lot of money. Let's say your paycheck was $500 a week. They take maybe, I don't know, $60, maybe to $100, right? And they're using that tax money for bullshit anyways. So why not put extra couple percentages up and just have free health and have healthcare? Doesn't have to be free because you're already paying for it through your paycheck. It's not free. It's being deducted from your check, so it's not free. Don't it's not That's not how it is. And then your kids would have free schooling. You wouldn't have to get out of school and study for I don't know 4, 5, 10 years, and then you get out and then you're in debt up to here, and then you gotta go bankrupt. You can never have a normal credit score. Do you know that the credit score doesn't even exist in most European countries, man? It certainly doesn't exist where I come from, man. It doesn't exist in Serbia. It doesn't exist. I, I I was just there in 2021. I was trying to rent an apartment with my mother and my son. And I told the guy that was renting the apartment, I said, so are you looking for a credit score? And the guy said, what? And I said, credit score. The dude goes, I don't know what that is. And we don't have it. We don't know what that is. And so I explained to the guy what credit score is. He says that is the stupidest thing that he's ever heard. Credit score, it is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. It should never exist. I don't understand why people have to have some kind of fucking imaginary credit score to be able to rent a goddamn apartment or a house. For what? Credit score shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the something some kind of measure which we go by so we would get a place for us to live in or something like that. I mean, not everybody has a fucking credit card. People can have a job and make good money, but they don't have a fucking credit card. See what I'm saying? That's where my argument comes from. So, um, you go to some European countries, you just rent a fucking place. Nobody cares. Nobody over there cares what your credit score is. Nobody cares what you're making. Okay? If you tell them that you can pay the rent and you sign the papers, they're going to give you the apartment. It's as simple as that. And then if you can't pay it, you're out. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, just like everywhere else, man. Yeah, I mean, and people get scared, and I'm not. Listen, man. As a matter of fact, I don't like politics. I never talk about it almost ever. On this show, I mostly talk about spirituality, like panic disorder, and um, like I welcome all the people that are rejected and misunderstood, and I welcome all the people who are veterans, immigrants, stuff like that. I'm just on my show. I usually don't talk politics, but today I do because a few people wanted me to talk about it. I'm like, all right, well, let's talk about it, whatever. I have nothing bad to say about anybody in the administration, this one or previous one, anyone. I don't care. What I'm just saying is, I think that people misunderstand the meaning of socialism. Okay? It is not a scary thing, man. It's nothing to be afraid of. Okay? Uh, all it is you paying a little extra on your paycheck on taxes. It's not a scary thing. You know what's a scary thing, man? The scary thing is when you work your whole life, when your child grows up to be a wonderful young man, or your daughter grows up to be a wonderful woman, and then you send them to a school for which you have to pay out of your pocket, right? Some people can't pay $20,000 or $30,000 a year to send somebody to school. Most of the people in this country cannot afford schooling. Most of the people in this country cannot afford medical bills, medication, stuff like that, right? So if I mattered in politics world, I would just say, hey, let's do it this way. Taxes that we're already paying already, that they're already taking, let's add 2% more or 5% more to that. But then we're going to have affordable healthcare, and then we're going to have affordable schooling. Then we're going to have be able to go and take your paid vacation, many things. But the problem is, who's going to buy all the guns? Who's going to buy all the planes? Who's going to make all the tanks and bombs? Gotta make bombs. I mean, what the fuck, right? So bombs before people. It's always been like that. See, that's why I never liked it. I never liked it here. My father brought me here years ago, and I was so against coming here because I just knew there's something fucking off about this place. It always gave me chills. What do you mean? What salaries? Who didn't deliver? What are you talking about? Who's gonna? What do you mean? Who's gonna? I'm sorry. Who's gonna pay for all the salaries? What do you mean? Your salary? You're working for it, man. I'm not talking about your business, man. This is where you guys disconnect things. This has nothing to do with your business. You can have your business, man. You can have your guns, you can have your business, you can have everything. What I am talking about is deducting extra money out of your paycheck to so you can have health care, bro. Don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to show up to a doctor, man, and walk out of there with no bills to worry about? Unless you have a lot of money, then you're good. But 90% of people not in your shoes, my friend. You can speak for yourself. If you got plenty of money, that's your problem. But I'm speaking for the most people that don't have the money. And this is the solution for people that don't have the money. You got to understand, there's more of those that don't have than there's those that do have. It's just the problem is that billionaires rule and they never cared about what happens to us. Okay? This is why nobody said you can't have a business. Nobody said you cannot be an entrepreneur. I'm just strictly talking about from the point of be able to pay medical bills and school tuition and have maybe paid vacation or medical leave. If you get sick at work, okay, you leave and you get paid for it. And it's possible in this country. It's totally possible. If it's possible in a country where there's 5 million people, it is possible for a country where there's 300 plus million people. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Yeah, this is the thing, man. Like, people always think that someone is gonna take their money. Everybody thinks someone's gonna take their fucking money. These rich, fucking upper class, greedy ass, whatever they are. Like, they're always afraid that somebody's gonna take something from them. Nobody wants anything from you, man. What I'm saying is, everyone, especially billionaires, but everyone would have just pay a little bit extra out of their paycheck, and then your kids can go to school, man. Don't you want? I'm sure that most of the people would agree with me in this country if I'm saying that everybody wants their kids to graduate, and you want your kids to become someone. You don't want your kids to fucking drown in bills and and go bankrupt by the time they're 30 years old. That's what happens here, you know. They tell you that there's this dream, like this American dream. You can become whatever you want if you put your mind to it. It's a complete bullshit lie. You cannot become what you want if you put your mind to it. There's only a few people in this fucking world that can do and they can accomplish things if they put their mind to it. And those people are the ones that have the money. Those people are the ones that are born into it. You understand? If you are broke and you're born in a broke family and your poverty follows you everywhere you go through since your grandfathers and your great grandfathers and your great grandmothers or whatever it is, you will most likely be poor 2, 5, 10 generations later. It's not always true, but in most cases it is. And and I don't blame anybody that has a lot of money. They just don't get it. And if they don't get it, then I don't get it. It's just that simple. And if you have the money, kudos to you, man. It's great for you, man. If you have a lot of money, hey, fuck it, man. Fucking time, because one day you'll be dead. So take your billions and your millions and have a great fucking time. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, you guys, that's a thing. You guys don't have a terrible healthcare. Like, speaking of, American healthcare is not bad. It's disorganized. It is not organized. It is. It always seems like you have to jump through hoops, like many hoops, to get to where you need to be, and or to get some sort of help, you know. And to me, that's the problem. I think that the hospitals in the United States are great, most of them. I think, well, not at all, but I've been to some countries in Europe, and most of the hospitals here are in a better shape than some European country hospitals. I'm just talking about the financial side uh, of getting medical care. Shit, man! If everybody did like Canada does it, this world will be better. Exactly. That's See, you just said it yourself. You said I agree with that. I was typing so fast, too fast. It's good healthcare. It's just crazy expensive. That's exactly what I was talking about. Blue Gatorade. So the health care is good, but the system is so messed up that it's so disorganized that we go broke when we're trying to pay all the bills. So what I'm saying again is these extra few percentages on your paycheck that will be taken out. It's really not that much money. You're talking maybe $20 extra. If you were paying 60, now you'll be paying 80, right? Yeah, it does seem quite a bit to some people who are not making much money, and it is. $20 goes a far way to those that don't really have much money. Like I don't. I've been poor my whole fucking life, and I'm still poor. I'm dirt poor. And what I'm saying is, and I have rich relatives. See what I'm saying? Like I'm dirt poor, but my relatives are fucking. They buy buildings and travel all over the world, and they just bought a giant ass freaking yacht. You know, and we don't get along. So, and let me tell you how many times my rich relatives helped me. It's my dad's brother. You know how many times they've helped me? Millionaires. You know how many times? They don't have to. Nobody says they have to help me. But you know how many times I've gotten help from these people, man? Zero. Zilch. Nothing. Ever. They're the most gross, cheap, disgusting, rude people I have ever met. They're my family, but we don't get along because they're so damn disgustingly cheap. There's nothing worse in the world than being cheap. I swear to fucking God. Yes, it would have a negative effect in the United States just this is because in the United States you guys are used to a certain system, and this system has been kind of brewing in the United States for many, 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 many years, right? So it is really hard to just say, well, let's gut everything and then do it all over again, right? I get that. Um, like I understand that it would take a lot of sacrifice. Well, first of all, politicians wouldn't want to do it because see that's just where it starts. Like everything starts from money in the politics, and I don't want to talk about politics, but that's where it starts, right? You have these people who are candidates, and America has notoriously, notoriously bad um, vision for for leadership. I think the leadership in the United States is terrible, not just now, but it always has been. Even with Obama, it was terrible. Even with Joe Biden, it was terrible. Even with Trump, it's terrible. Even with Bill Clinton, it's terrible. I just feel like we need to, for once in our goddamn lifetime, choose someone that is actually going to help us for one damn time, man. And that's what I'm saying. The people here have notoriously bad instinct for what politicians should look like and be like and feel and act like, right? I think it's always these old rich men who come to the top and they control the fucking world, you know? Yeah, choose a fucking farmer. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Choose uh I don't know, a veteran. Choose an immigrant. Choose an American, younger, smarter, educated. We're all Americans. But choose someone that uh, has a structure within his roots in his family that's mentally on poor side. If you know what I mean, like have the understanding of capitals, have the understanding of what it's like to not have, and have an understanding of what it's like to have. And as a politician who understands those two things and the differences, it will be a great leader, in my eyes. And I just feel like people don't learn here. That's the problem. The people, and then when you really, people are also the problem here. I feel like people are just not, people don't learn. I feel like we just keep electing like really bad, real bad politicians, and it's always really old, senile, rich men. I don't know how do we get there? And there's nothing wrong with old men, okay? There's nothing wrong with rich men, okay? But please, if you want to help people, can we not elect money? Can we not? Can we not like look into dollar bills as our presidents? Can we not have a one giant dollar bill controlling all of us? Maybe how about fucking cherry pie, you know? Or how about like this guy said, a farmer? Yeah, could be. And I mean, honestly, like, I mean, you're right. I mean, it should be some. It should be someone that understands the working class. Okay, like it doesn't matter what you do with rich people. They're always going to be rich people. They're going to do whatever they want. Okay, so it's not like you can really change that. Okay, what we're trying to change here is what makes difference in lives of people who don't have. Now, when you're rich and you're a millionaire, billionaire, you can just fucking sit on your helicopter. You can go all the way to from Michigan to New York and have a fucking coffee, come back, have your champagne, go back to your yacht, enjoy your goddamn life, do whatever you want. But the politicians and the government should really serve a real people, like actual workers, nurses, farmers, firemen, soldiers, people working in supermarkets and health industry, and you know, people actually work for a living. You know, There you go. You see, I didn't know that about George Washington. Well, again, yes, it's complex. Again, when you have, I don't know much about, like, obviously, okay, what I can say is this 1776, right? Isn't that when the, what's that called? It was signed, wasn't that independence, right? 1776, was that the beginning of, basically the beginning of the United States, 1776, right? So okay, let's just say that, right? So this country, this continent, this they used to belong to Indians, but that's not irrelevant for what I was going to say. The thing is, this country has only existed less than 300 years, 240, 250 years, right? Yeah, I said 1776. But so you're talking what, 150 to 250 years, right? Somewhere around there, 240 plus 250, right? So, and like you said, it's hard to change things. Why? Well, like I said earlier, and you even said it yourself, it's it is set in its ways because you have almost 300 years of this is how we do it. Capitalism, 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 money, 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 private businesses, entrepreneurs, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it is. And pretty much all the other people got pushed to the side. Even small businesses got pushed to the side. Yeah, socialism has been broken down to why work, and that's totally not true. It has nothing to do with not working. As a matter of fact, in former Yugoslavia, which is the only country in the world where socialism actually worked, the living example of socialism actually working was in the former Yugoslavia. Don't forget that. It's not North Korea. It's not Russia. Well, it's actually Denmark. Well, Denmark has total socialism right now, and they're an amazing country. They do really good. And I also think Canada is kind of doing the socialism too right now. They have been for a long time. Um, so yeah, so America is set in its ways. It's really hard to change things. It's really hard to say, hey, let's elect this politician who's going to be on more the people's side because rich do whatever they want anyways, and then let's put someone in the White House who's actually going to understand us, and let's just flip the whole system upside down on its head and try to create this social uh, sort of called safety net, right? Safety line or safety imaginary line or whatever it is that you want to call it. And it will be really hard to accomplish. But, you know, I believe that one day in this country that will happen. It's already starting to happen. This is why they're trying to suppress it, to push it aside. It's causing a lot of problems because it's like you just said, it's 250 years of capitalism, you know, and doing just the American thing, and it it seemed that like it worked somewhat, but then look at all these homeless people, there's a lot of homeless people that that are on the streets with their families, with their kids, with their wives, and still have two jobs and still can't survive, can't pay the bills. And they have one or two or three jobs, they still can't pay the bills. Okay, I partially agree. I think that yes, and that's well, that's where the money would go. You just said it. That's that. You just said it. You would mind paying a little extra in taxes if it would go to Americans, and that's what it would happen. It would go to Americans, my friend. Where else? Yeah, yeah, of course. The 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 whole meaning of socialism first needs to you first need to change people's minds. I mean, let's just say that's the bottom line. That's what needs to start. Okay, you need to change the roots and start from the bottom. Once you can change people's minds about what socialism means as as a word, as a meaning, as action, uh, then you'll be able to do something with it. But when most people don't even understand what that means, it's it's gonna be hard, because most people are scared, and and I get it because that's what's been served to them through TV, through fucking radio, through media, you know, through every single dang president that came around who wanted to scare you and tell you that socialism is bad. Guys, it's not. Neither is capitalism. Capitalism and socialism and they can actually go hand in hand. Okay, one and one can exist. Okay, just like the rich and poor can exist and coexist together, we can live, and we don't need a damn wall to separate rich and poor. Although I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not talking about Trump's wall. I'm talking about a wall. One day it's going to happen, regardless whether you like it or not. It's going to separate us from those others who have a lot. There's going to be a wall. There's going to be those that have and those that don't have. Okay? It's going to happen. I wish it never happens, but it's going to happen because that's what it's looking like. And then they say, well, look at the prices out there. Everything is so damn cheap. Well, look at it. The prices went down. The price of gas, the price of food, the prices of electricity, the prices of rent. It is not true. None of it's true. Gasoline didn't go down. Price of food didn't go down. Price of rent went up. Uh, what else? Everything is just up, up, up. Prices of clothing, prices of freaking milk and everything. I mean, I got a little grocery store next to me over here, not too far from here. Well, it's privately owned store. Gallon of milk is $7, and it's not even organic. What can I tell you? That's craziness. Okay. Man, I love this. I like you, man. I like you. I can talk to you all day long, brother. Okay, well, you got some good points and you got some not so good points, but in overall, not bad. But like I said, I'm not educated in economics. I'm not educated in politics. I'm not educated in any of that shit. Okay, it's just my experience through life, and quite frankly, I've been in a country that have lived through socialism. There's a war. There's all kinds of stuff. The war happened because of the fucking capitalism. But two things: rich and poor can coexist all day long. Now, if socialism and capitalism can coexist all day long because they have nothing to do with each other. They're two separate entities, two separate things. And he says something about rich paying taxes. Okay, everyone knows. You can go on Google right freaking now, man, and you can Google and you will see. I pay more taxes than any rich person out there. Okay? It is not true the rich pay taxes. They don't. Upper class, like upper middle class, pays taxes. But like those really wealthy billionaires, they don't pay anything. Look at the Jeff Bezos, for example, right? He's paid zero in taxes. Zero. Nothing. He's paid zero for years now. Okay? So, and it is not true if rich pay taxes that they will close their businesses and everybody lose their jobs. It's just not true. First of all, if you're worth $10 billion and you pay 500 million in taxes, I am sorry, but I don't think you're going to be broke, and I don't think your business is going to go broke. All right, at least pay close to what I'm paying, okay? But just don't do zero. All right. He fucking paid zero in taxes, man. Jeff Bezos paid zero in taxes, and not just him, many others just like him. And I'll tell you what I really love. What's that show called Shark Tank? Yeah. What's that guy's name in the Shark Tank? He's a billionaire. He owns Dallas Mavericks. The fuck is his name? Because I want to say something connected to him. What the hell is his name? He's from Texas. Son of a bitch, man. Do you guys know? If you he owns the basketball team, Dallas Mavericks, and he also Mark Cuban. That's right. So okay, I'll tell you something that I think it's a total bullshit. That he serves everybody daily. That guy, yeah, he goes on TV and he's all like, yeah, poor people, we need this, and yeah, I'm on your side. Okay, whatever. Bunch of fucking crap. He goes around and just watch when he talks. When they ask him a question, like, Mr. Cuban, how did you get your wealth? How did you become so wealthy? And then he goes, yeah, um, well, this is how it went for me, Jessica. You see, I first started off, I was very poor. But then I started selling meat from door to door. And guess what? Holy crap, I became a billionaire. I didn't have $10 in my pocket. And look at me now. I'm so fucking filthy rich from selling meat from door to door. Oh my God. Please give me a fucking break. God damn it. Sorry, guys. I just don't fall. I don't fall for bullshit like you can make billions from nothing. It is not possible. If anybody tells you you can become rich from having nothing to having billions, no, it is not possible. And they all try to fucking serve that story to everybody, to all of us. When somebody asks them when they're like on live TV, like let's say like C-SPAN or whatever, they go like, yeah, I come from a poor family. My dad, he was poor. My mother was poor. But me, out of 6 kids, I was the only one, I really worked so hard and I put my mind to it. And when you put your mind to it, you can be whatever you want. And that's what I did. I sold meat and sold shoes and, I became a billionaire. Look at me now. And it's like, this, and people fucking fall for that shit too. That's the thing, man. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, that's the thing. People fall for that, and it's just astonishing to me that people fall for that bullshit of becoming a billionaire out of nothing. And I'll tell you another thing. I have nothing, man. I have zero contempt, zero jealousy for people that have money. Live your life, bro. You got lucky. Have fun. Use your money smart way, but also help others. Don't be a fucking prick. Don't be a cheapskate. All right? Take that day money and help others also. I gotta light up some sage. You talking about Tesla and the Westinghouse? The deal in 30, no, sorry. Yeah, 1919, 1920, something like that. When Tesla came in the picture with Westinghouse, when they built those generators. Shit, Westinghouse still does business now. It's the best. Westinghouse shit is the best. It was then and still is. Do you know who became a big ass fucking asshole? Is that JP Morgan guy. That guy is a fucking, my God. We could have all had free electricity, guys. Everyone could have had free fucking electricity. When Tesla talked to fucking JP Morgan and they built that tower, and when he stuck that damn bulb in the ground and he said, look at, we can all have free fucking electricity. But you see, Tesla didn't tell JP Morgan what he was built. He told him what he was building, but he didn't tell him why. So JP Morgan says, wow, this is a great idea, here's the money, bam, 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 bam. And fucking JP Morgan gave him like, I don't know, it was like a lot of money at the time. I think it was like, was it million, couple million or something like that. I know he gave him like a lot of money. JP Morgan pointed up a lot of money to Tesla. Tesla built this, it was there. There's pictures all over the internet that the tower, I think it's got a specific name, but it's for free energy. So Tesla went through all this fucking craziness to build that tower so people can so he can demonstrate to everyone, hey, look we can actually have free energy, and he ended up building that tower, and it he proved that actually worked. Then anywhere on the planet you can have free energy. And so when JP Morgan found out that it's free energy, he's like, oh no, we don't want that. We're gonna destroy that tower, and you're not getting financing anymore. And let's destroy this. Make sure that nobody ever finds out about this ever again. Let's bury these documents and these plans and all of this shit. No free energy. You know, that's how billionaires think. That's just their mindset. Why do we have to have anything for free? Why? Well, I don't know. Why be rich? Because that's basically everything for free. When you're rich, it's like being, when like being that freaking filthy rich and having $250 billion. That is basically like you're getting everything for free. Like you don't shop for yourself, you don't do anything yourself. You get people doing everything for you. You're just show up at this factory, show up there, show up there. Everybody's doing their job, whatever. The conspiracy of free energy, dude? It's not a conspiracy, man. That's true. You can do it in your yard. Okay, well, there's a small chance, maybe, small chance that there could be a conspiracy. But why would History Channel play that over and over and over again? There you go. Here it is. He just told you. Yeah, he just told you. There it is. And guess who came up and I hate cell phones. I don't this is to be honest with you, I do this channel because I'm trying to help people panic disorder, anxieties. It's the first time I've ever got caught up in politics of whatever, it's fine tonight. As long as I don't mention people's names, I'm okay with it. But I choose to. I talk about politics now and then, but the channel is meant to be about rejected and those that suffer from addictions and panic disorder and stuff like that. It's spirituality. That's kind of like my thing. But um, the thing is, well, nobody will like it. If you build something free energy, you would have people show up at your door and murder you. Nobody wants free energy, man. Like, well, first, no, he's not saying that that's free energy. What he's saying is, in terms of uh, being able to spread the signal, okay, it's about the signal, and it's possible. He's done it. Tesla has done it 100 years ago. So what he's saying is, he's okay. We wouldn't even have cell phones today if it wasn't for Tesla. If you look at his files and you look at his drawings and even some of his interviews, and uh, they've saved some of his drawings, right? And um, he talked about like basically one day, and this was 1900s. He was saying, well, one day we'll be able to send pictures through air, and you will be able to get it from one town to another, kind of thing. And he kind of drew this thing that looked kind of like the phone, and so Tesla. The reason why we even have lasers or cell phones or any kind of cell or Wi-Fi thing or anything to do with the laser or anything to do with radio um, or electricity, Tesla, he's the one. He's the king. He's always been. Nobody gave him credit, you know, till just Tesla didn't get the credit for things that he did because he did it all. Not up until maybe 10 years ago. Everybody was saying, oh, what's his name? That he's supposed to be the the guy who invented electricity or whatever. What the fuck is his name? That everybody says he's the one that's responsible. No, man, Tesla's always been a man. Always. As a matter of fact, I would even say that most people will agree with me and say that Tesla has always been on the right side of history. He never wanted money. He always wanted to do things to benefit people. He was a true people's person. Everything that he did was for the people. And he's died completely broke. That just tells you that everything that he did it out of the heart. He did it from his soul, from his heart to help everybody. So that's why he died broke. He could have had a lot of money. He could have been a rich man, but he never really wanted much. He just wanted to change the world in a positive direction. So, um, and it's just really sad the way that man went. You're talking about just really sad how that man ended up dying in his room alone in New York City. And then, as soon as he died, the American, I think it was the CIA or FBI, they stormed into his room, stole all his documents, And then later on, Serbia, which is where I come from, actually, Tesla is my countryman. Uh, Serbia later on requested that the FBI and CIA return all his works, which are now in a Tesla museum in Belgrade in Serbia. So most of the stuff, you know, most of the important Tesla stuff is probably here because, you know, U.S. kept it, they stole it. Well, just imagine if they try to pull off that fucking. Just imagine if they try to pull off free electricity, man. It would be a fucking chaos here, literal chaos. Of course it can. Yeah, I agree with you. So imagine like, well, you saw that thing when these rich freaking wives of Bezos and these rich wives of I don't know the guy, what's his name, Stephen Miller, and billionaire wives went up in fucking space and blew, I don't know, like $20 million or something like that just to fucking get above the clouds. Well, just that money right there, I think would have been enough to start some kind of free electricity thing. I mean, it doesn't take much to begin with, and there's so much money. Like, I believe if billionaires really wanted to do any fucking good, they could have used their money, that money, and help everyone. I mean, that's, like Elizabeth Taylor said, back in the early 90s when Freddie Mercury died from AIDS. There was a huge AIDS movement. A lot of people were donating money for research and stuff like that. So Elizabeth Taylor was one of those famous actresses, and she was quite a bit rich. And she said something along the words, uh, "What is the fame? What's the money and fame all for if you can't use it?" Uh, you know, and uh, and I agree. Like, you're famous for a reason. You're famous and you're rich for a reason. So she decided to use her power and her money to help. And so she donated tons of money. I think even most of her money to research for AIDS, to help all the people that were sick from AIDS back in, in that time. You're talking 89, 90, 91, 92. That's when AIDS was on. That's when we were on the verge of discovering that medication, the pills and stuff like that. The Magic Johnson took and stuff. I don't know, some other people, and you can just see how unfortunate Freddie Mercury really was. I mean, he got sick, I think, in 1987 or 1988. That man, and he died in 1991. And then a year later, they had a huge concert in England on Wembley that was dedicated to him. Like, all the biggest bands came out, and like Queen and Guns N' Roses, and even Elizabeth Taylor came out, and Lisa Stansfield, and um, like Metallica, and I don't know. It was just one of the biggest events that ever happened. Kind of like the event. What was that? It was called something for something. It was like 1986. It was like a huge concert that happened. It was for the money from that concert was donated to help the world, basically. I don't know what the concert was called, but it happened in the 80s. And this concert that happened in Wembley in 1992 was kind of like that. So what I'm trying to say is this: Elizabeth Taylor donated most of her money to help. Uh, right? Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Yes. Exactly. So now I'm going back to Elizabeth Taylor because I think it's important, and I wish that more people were like Elizabeth Taylor. So like I said, she did say, "Hey, this is really well documented. There's even a video of her saying that. What is it? What is your fame and all your money for if you can't use it, or do you don't want to use it? Like, what are you keeping it all to yourself? Okay, well you can, but what's the point? You know what I mean? You're gonna fucking die anyways." And so she invested all her money, helped research for AIDS, and I think she's responsible for the fact that the medication came out not too long after Freddie died. And it's just so unfortunate when you think about it. Freddie Mercury died in 1991. Magic Johnson case happened in when they found out Magic Johnson had AIDS was mid 90s. So it's so unfortunate. Like we could have had Mercury alive today if he only lived for another year or two. He would have been able to get those. Well, they had experimental medication at the time to suppress HIV and so on. The same thing that Magic Johnson took. Otherwise, Magic Johnson would have been dead too. So yeah, that was actually a pretty good example of if you're a billionaire and you're powerful, please try to use your money to help anybody that you can. There's a lot of hungry people, and kids and people, any kind of people all over the world, and help. Couple of $1,000, couple $1 million can save many, many, many lives. Uh, they say $20 billion would end homelessness. I don't know how true that is. It probably would, maybe even less. And our government votes to. I mean, what was that military budget? They just voted for not too long ago. There was like $100 billion or $180 billion. United. Well, I just think about this. It fucking hurts me. We sent $180 billion to Ukraine. And that's okay. That's okay that we did that. That's fine. But we did nothing to help anybody here. Why doesn't our government vote to help our people here, our people here? Why do we always send money to somebody else? $180 billion went to Ukraine. For what? And why 180 billion? It's not necessary. I mean, you can buy Ukraine 10 times over with $180 billion. Well, you guys did that because most of you know Ukraine has some of the best soil in the world, if not the best soil in the world. That's where it's at. It's in Ukraine. It's they're saying the literally the color of the dirt is black. The soil is like it's almost like coal. That's how good. And they're saying if they say literally if you go to Ukraine and you put a fucking stick in there, it would literally grow something the next day. That's how good. And that's why Hitler and Nazis during the World War II, they wanted Ukraine for themselves, but they didn't get it because Russians came in and they took it back. That was the Russian territory. But yeah, Nazis wanted it for themselves. Nazis took uh, tons, hundreds, thousands of tons of that black dirt and brought it over to Germany because they couldn't fucking grow shit over there. So they were using Ukrainian soil to grow stuff because they just couldn't grow anything. I mean, look at this here in Michigan. Soil here sucks. I don't even know how farmers grow anything because uh, it's got sand in it, it's got rocks in it. I mean, American soil is not very good. I'm not a farmer, man, but I tell you, American soil is not very good. I don't know. Maybe you need to go up north, up in Montana, and maybe you will find some really good soil up there. But man, there's none here in Michigan. Is really bad. Yeah. So yeah. Uh, so I just think that that money was for the soil, man. I really really do. I think that I believe that United States literally bought off the whole Ukraine with that money. I mean, of course, we had the closed doors; we didn't see it. No, I truthfully, I really don't believe it. I honestly don't understand how farmers here grow anything. I'm really shocked that they can even pull off to grow anything. I used to work for a farm not too far. Some years ago, I used to drive a truck, and I would bring sugar beets sugar beet leftovers. Basically, I would get up at 5 in the morning. I would go pick up the truck, the semi truck, a tanker, and I would go and drive over to the sugar beet plant and pick up the sugar beet that the juice, the leftover, the whatever it is that they use to process it with, whatever they did. Well, that stuff goes into they fill me up, and then I go drive over to the farms, and then they suck everything out and they just distribute it throughout the farms. So all that beet stuff, sugar beet stuff, was used to help farms grow better crops, right? So it basically kind of goes into dirt, out of the dirt, back into the dirt. You know, it's and so what I was trying to say is to be a farmer here, man, it costs a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, I worked for this guy who was Polish. He had his own farm here. He owned like I don't know 5, 6 semi trucks, and every year, like I said, that's what we did. I was paid to go bring the beets and the beet. Uh, I don't know what that's called. That's it smells so bad. It's crazy how bad that shit smells. Like when they process sugar beet, like during and I think it happens somewhere like around end of summer, towards more towards like fall. Um, I can smell it because sugar beet plant is like 30, 40 miles out. And when they make sugar, the smell of it, man, it's just most appalling, most terrible smelling thing you ever smell. Like I don't know how they can put that stuff into the fields and anything will really grow out of it. I was blown away. I'm like, how can anything even grow out of this? Like it's crazy. So yeah, like I said, I was working for this farmer, and there was a guy that it was a he was his like foreman guy, like a super. He was a supervisor. He was supervising his farm. This guy did everything for him: fixes trucks, fixes fucking combines, fixes everything, tractors, whatever. This guy was a know-it-all mechanic, um, and but he also ran many other operations on the farm. And he told me that they were $5 million in debt. Imagine. These farmers were the farm was $5 million in debt. It's just sad. Sad. We need to help our farmers, man. Farmers in the United States need help. Oh yeah, man. China doesn't only dominate farming, but dominates the world, man. I mean, look at what isn't Chinese made. What it name me one thing that's not Chinese made. Holy shit. Think about it. And then Trump was saying he wants to tariff China or like not do business with China. Do you understand what would happen? Dude, it would be almost unimaginable what would happen to the United States if China stopped exporting their stuff here. This country would literally fall apart. I'm not even shitting you. Like, the US would not be able to survive without China and Chinese exports because Plain and simple. Nobody would want to work for that kind of money here in the U.S. The stuff that they can make over there for $4, we would have to pay worker $15,000-$20 an hour here, and they can do just as good of a job, if not better. Dude, they have chickens. Listen to this, huh? It's a sage. They have chickens sent from here. Chickens, just like a chicken, killed chicken, right? They clean. They send it all the way to fucking China to get taken apart, cleaned out, packaged, and sent over here. It's insane. And it's actually profitable. How? I have no idea. Blue. Mr. Blue. No, I'm just saying, like, seriously. Uh, why in the why would you send chickens, literally a chicken corpse, all the way to China to have it get packaged and then sent back to US? Because it's fucking cheap. They do it for like a 2 cents on a dollar or 2, 3 cents. I mean, it's that cheap, right? And I'm thinking like, well, if they're doing that, then how are they making money? I mean, it's a chicken, for Christ's sakes. And then we still sell it for like $78 here. It's ridiculous. Folks, sub if you haven't subbed already. Go ahead. Push that sub button, subscription button. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers. And I see there's a lot of you. Just push that sub button. And yeah, so what does that put farming into debt? Yeah, I mean, farmers are in a terrible debt, man. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, so many. I mean, why don't we pay our people here and let them work? Why send them overseas? That's another question that I have to ask. Why can't we just pay our people to do their job here? You know, why do we have to send it over to China or North Korea or something, or South Korea or Japan or whatever? Why can't we just have our people work here, pay them a little more, and just let them work? Well, there's 40 people actually. You're not the only one. There's 40 people watching this right now. You are the only one in the chat, but there's 46 people right now watching this. That's what, at least that's what it says on my thing here. It says 46 people. All right, well, that should be that. It's pretty late in the morning. It's like, what, 4 o'clock? Well, listen, guys, thank you all of you who haven't been in the chat, or you've just been kind of watching from the sidelines. Thank you so much. I see there's 40 something of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes. We did talk some politics today, and it was enjoyable. I enjoyed myself. Yeah, thank you, and thanks for being here, bro. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks to your opponent. Thank you for Mr. Blue. Okay, thank you, and yeah, Mr. Blue Getaway. Thank you so much for being here, man. Yeah, all of you. Thank you all so much, man. Thank you for the likes. I know what else to say. I'm truly touched for all these people that are here. Although not most of you commented, but you should have. And thank you for all that you're subscribed. Thank you so much. We've been doing this for 2 hours now, and it's time for me to get off this damn phone. It's killing me. All right, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you for being here for another episode of Just Another Conversation. I'm hoping that you're going to join me the next time. My name is Mr. Unspeakable, and we'll see you for the episode 18, which will probably be tomorrow night. I'm hoping so, and I hope that you'll be joining me again. I wish you all the best. Stay healthy. Love your family. Love your friends. Take care of each other. Ciao.